I always start off with good afternoon, sir.
All right.
You might introduce yourself. I know you obviously, but for those watching and listening.
Yeah. It's Voc Miller, man. Upstate Titans director, man. That's about it. That's me.
All right, man.
Kelly on the drum.
So I wanted to interview you because I think that what you do is awesome, man. I think that shit is very admirable that you coach young men. Do you have women on the team as well?
Well, we've had young ladies play with us, but not at the moment.
Okay. So how did you get started doing this? Like, did you pick up a team or you created a whole team from scratch?
Nah, man. I'm one of the ones that really got it out of the mud.
Okay.
So what happened was, I used to run I used to be in Primerica. Primerica was a financial services company I used to do back in the day. And then I was doing that. I was doing speaking engagements and stuff like that because I was having success with that. And I had a guy by the name of Beatty, Waddell. He was in it with me, but he was based out of Charleston.
Okay.
And he started following me. He started seeing me. I was winning. I was doing speeches and all this stuff like that. And he was like, "Yo, bro." Me and him start working together. He was like, "Hey, can you jump on conference calls, kind of motivate my people, tell them what we're doing so we can win, the things of that nature." So that went from him starting his own youth football programs and stuff down in the lower state. And then he was like, I want to expand. I want to start a league. So he was like, I want to come up into Greenville, but I don't have nobody to represent Greenville. And he was like, bro, you could be the perfect person. I know you know business. I know you know how to carry yourself. I know you know how to speak. I know how you know how to do all those things. So I was like, bro, I ain't no football guy though. Bro. You know what I mean?
You're basketball.
I'm basketball. You know what I mean? Now, if you want to do a basketball, let's get it. Because I had already said, man, I was like, man, I done a lot of stuff. And everything that I've done, I post-military was always in the position to where I could help people. Primarily, the reason I jumped into that, because I was like, man, I could teach people about finance. I could teach people about life insurance. I can do that. I went from that, worked a little job, then I went to being a recruiter.
Okay.
Well, I was recruiting for people, helping people get jobs. I was the plug. I was getting everybody jobs. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, cool. So then I was like, well, you know what? And then the way he got me was this. He was like, I know you're looking for your purpose, bro. He said, but think about it, if you do basketball, man, you're only going to have about 10, 12 people on your team. He said, if you come do this football thing, man, you'll have about 60 kids.
Hell yeah. And
he was like, what you want to do with those basketball kids, if you do that with these football kids, you'll touch a whole lot more kids. And I was like, dang, you got me. So I was like, that makes sense, man. I said, I really want to do something for the kids, do something special for the kids, because a lot of people talk about, hey, man, all these kids fell to the wayside, man. This kid was so good, man. He got caught in the streets, this, da. But nobody was really doing a whole lot.
Yeah, you complaining, but no solution.
You see what I'm saying? So I was like, especially on the travel aspect, there's a lot of guys doing rec ball and things. But I was like, man, so you telling me I could do that and introduce them to a whole new world where they can actually play travel football. Okay. And we can take the best kids from our area and go down there and play the best kids from other areas and just change the game. Yeah. So it was a win-win situation. I can be a part of the evolution of youth football in South Carolina, and I can affect kids from that standpoint. Yeah. That's a win-win situation for me. And that's how I got started, bro.
Okay, so you say travel ball. What's the differences in? Is it like AAU for football or? Yeah.
So we started out in AAU, but AAU, like a lot of people think about travel sports, they put AAU attached to it. So anytime, any kind of basketball, baseball, track, all that stuff, you have different, entities. Okay. So you got AAU, then you may have, like with us, you got AAU, you got United, you got all these different brands. Okay. Everybody attaches to AAU because AAU is the oldest brand.
Right.
But it's all travel. But it's a lot of different names to it. So a team might play travel basketball, but they might not even be attached to AAU. They may play in the AAU tournament, but they may be teamwork, or they may be, with different places, or a lot of it's big. It's so big now that it's crazy. Okay. But that's how. So when you say AAU, we're part of United Youth Football. But everybody gonna say, "Oh, y'all AAU team." We're not technically an AAU team, but yes, we play travel football. So just to explain to the people that don't understand that's how it works. But we started out in AAU because that's what it was. That was pretty one of the only things that was available at the time. But now it's so much stuff out there. So
okay, so when you first started, did you only play teams like in the Upstate? Well,
there was no teams in Upstate, so we was the first Upstate travel football team in AAU. Okay. So you had a team in we had a team in Greenville, we had a team in Beaufort, we had a team in Anderson, and we had a team in Charleston. Okay. So it was just 4 of us.
Okay.
And that's how it started. Now, you know, man, there's so many youth football travel teams now, but in our league alone, it's like 50.
Damn, 50 teams?
Yeah.
So how do you determine who you play against and like what's the age ranges?
We just put a schedule. So the age range is right now is from 6 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, a partner of mine, he puts the schedule together and we just go. So now we don't travel as much as we used to.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go to Charleston and Beaufort like 2 or 3 times a year. Now, if we go at all, maybe once a year.
Uh-huh.
So the travel has come down because there's so many teams now. We traveled a lot because it was only like 4 teams.
So you got to find
from
a team
4
to play.
to 8 to 12. Now it's 50. So we don't have to travel. We got teams in Clinton, Anderson, Spartanburg, you know, multiple teams in Spartanburg, Gaffney.
Oh, yeah.
So
they
now
got that,
it's close.
They got that field up there in Spartanburg going by Westgate Mall. Is that part of it as well?
Nah, we used to play games out there, but they stopped. It got so crazy out there, man. They didn't even want to play games out no more. They didn't want to let us play games.
Because of the level of talent? Or?
Well, no, it's just that, you know, parents and fans get irate and fights get to happening, and they was just like, man. So, but like I said, it don't happen all the time. But you know, it's youth football, man. From rec to travel ball, parents get emotional.
Yeah.
Coaches get emotional. And,
yeah.
You know how that goes. So. Yeah, man.
Okay, so how did you start recruiting your first? What was your first age range? Did you start just one team, or did you?
Nah, we kicked out with 3 teams. So when we first got started back in 2014, we had a 8U, 8 and under, 7 and 8. Well, 6, 7 and 8. Then we had 9 and 10, and we had 11 and 12.
Okay.
And that's how we got kicked off. And I started out with I said, man, I got to find some coaches, man. I actually went to Google and started looking up Red League. You know, I didn't know where to start. You know what I mean? So I just started looking up coaches, guys that was coaching Red League, maybe wanted to be a part of this. This was something new. Yeah. And as you know, anything new, you know, goes through phases, man. It's
ain't no blueprint.
It's opposed, ridiculed, then it's accepted. So at first they opposed it. It's like, man, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. So I was like, man, it is gonna work. Just trust me. You know, I'm not the type of guy that's gonna fail.
Yeah.
So just getting guys, you know, some guys stuck with it. A lot of guys left, you know, said they couldn't. They went back to rec programs and things of that nature. And then eventually, man, it was accepted, and we became the powerhouse that we are. So you started from scratch, bro.
Okay, so
scratch. Kids, no coaches, no nothing.
Okay, so how many coaches do you have on staff now?
Man, it's too many of them. It's too many of them.
Give or take.
Probably, let's see. Ooh, if I had to say, it's probably about 24 to 30.
Whew, just on your
staff? Each age group has about 6 coaches.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
One age group got like about 10 coaches. So it's just you know, guys that, you know, parents that want to get involved. Yeah. I'm not big on knocking a father from being involved because at the end of the day, there's so many fathers that's not involved. Yeah. So if a father comes in and say, hey, I want to be a part of it, it's hard for me to say, nah, I don't want you a part of what we got going on. It's because at the end of the day, fathers understand how to be a father to their child, and hopefully they understand how to be that role model for another child that don't have a father. But there's too many kids out there that don't have a father for me to tell a father, nah, I don't want you a part of what we got going on.
Especially with something positive.
Nah, come on, bro. Help somebody. You might can help, you know, even if you just giving them water or just being that influence for the kids. You know, a lot of these kids, I tell coaches all the time, y'all don't understand, bro. Some of these kids, you're the only person that whole week that gave them some kind of discipline or some kind of encouragement from a male perspective. Okay. So they look at you sometimes like, yo, dang, this is the closest thing I got to a daddy. You know what I mean? Even though it's 2 or 3 days a week. Yeah. But that's all they got. You know what I mean? When they go home, they might not have all that. So
where that come from, though, you wanting to be such a good, positive influence on kids?
Well, I just got tired of what people were saying. Oh, man, this kid was so good, but he got caught up in the streets. Or, man, this guy could have went D1, but da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, man, you know what? Okay, let me try to be the change. Well, one of my favorite quotes is "Be the change you want to see." Right. So at the end of the day, at least I can say I tried to make my mark on some of these kids. You know, when you close the casket on me, and you can say, "Ain't nobody got to sit up there and lie and say, oh, Voc, you know, he was this great." Nah, they said, "Man, look, this man really tried to help these kids, and these man really had these kids back, and he really gave them a platform, and he really poured into these kids, and they ain't even got to be the kids here because some of the things that I've done, I've helped affect people outside and, you know, help people build programs. And it just, everybody think about Titans, but they don't understand. I done built a lot of other programs through people in other parts of the state. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't talk about it because I'm not a braggadocious type of guy. But at the end of the day, I've helped a lot of people build their programs to where they are today. You see what I'm saying? By what I've learned by building it from scratch. So it's hard to teach somebody something you ain't done from scratch. Yeah. But I've done it. I went through the mud, so I can help people avoid those road bumps, so I can help them come out the mud too. You see what I'm saying? So that's just what it is with me, man. You know, I want to build kids up and leave my mark. You know what I mean? So when I leave here, you ain't gotta lie. You can tell the truth.
Is there any particular moment that really stands out to you? Like what was the moment that you was like, okay, this is for real and I'm making an impact? Is there one particular athlete? Is there a parent that said something? Or?
There's so many moments, bro. There's so many moments, man. One of my biggest moments, I would think, to me, was when I was starting from scratch, man. I was, one practice we started out right at Lakeside, right down the street, and I might have 30 kids in my first tryout. I was like, man, that's it. But then 2 practices later, man, I got 10. I'm like, whoa. So we fluctuate, and then I had a parent, one of my good friends to this day, one of my best friends, Lakaya Wright. She was like, look, bro, I got you. She said, man, I see your vision, I see what you're doing, and we ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? Her son was a good athlete still to this day at Limestone right now to this day.
Oh no.
Got a D1 offer and all that stuff. But I'm just like, when she told me that, when you get in your head and you're like, well, I don't know, man. I can't tell them that, but I'm like, man, this ain't. People telling me it ain't gonna work, and I don't got kids coming consistent like I want. But when you have a parent say, I got you, let's strap the boots up. I believe in your vision. I'm rocking with you.
That's cool.
When you go home, you like, you know what? I got to strap these boots up. We got to go. Somebody believed in the vision. So now, now that's all it takes is somebody to say, I believe in you. You know, they say that's one of the strongest things you can say to somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when she told me that, it was on and popping. And that was one of the biggest things that I was like, okay, I'm finna ride.
Okay, so what was the lowest point throughout maybe not in the beginning, because obviously you're going to have the bumps.
No, the lowest point was at the beginning. Lowest points was, that Voc this, man, they went in. They was saying I had 3 cars before I started my program. So they telling people, oh man, he got 3 cars because he taking money from the program. And oh, I can't buy my wife a pair of shoes. He taking money from the program. I'm like, man, come on, bro. If you know how much money I lost, man, you know what I mean? Is when I started my program up, if you just knew how much money we lost, by getting charter buses. I was getting charter buses and I would say, hey man, charter bus is $20 a seat. Let me know if you're gonna ride.
Right. Okay, it ain't free.
Yeah, we got 30 people gonna ride. We show up to a time to go. It's only 10, 15 people ride.
So you was taking fielding a team of like 10, 15 kids at a time.
Well, no, I was, we was taking the charter bus to the games because kids didn't have rides.
Yeah.
So I was telling them, look, the way we're gonna pay for the charter bus is every kid pay, every person that's riding, every seat is $20.
Okay.
But everybody's like, cool. We show up, it's 30 people riding, so that's, $600 or whatever, however much it's going to cost or whatever, or it might be more than that. It was a 50 passenger, so 45, 50 passengers. So I was thinking, okay, we fill the bus up, we good.
Right.
The bus was filled. We show up. Oh, I'm going to catch a ride with such and such. I'm going to catch a ride with such and such. So guess what? Now we only got 25 to 30 seats filled. So guess who got to pay for the other?
You.
Me.
Yeah.
And it happened multiple times.
Okay.
So you got to think that's $300, $600, $500.
Yeah.
Now I got to explain, hey, I got to go to the ATM and pay for this. The bus driver like, look, bro, I need my money.
Yeah.
I can't say, hey, man, they didn't pay.
Right.
So guess what? I got to walk into Walmart, go to the ATM, take the money out of my account, pay it. You see what I'm saying?
If not, ain't nobody getting on there.
Then you got parents that didn't pay registration. So they got their equipment, and I'm giving them equipment on good faith. I still got to pay for that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because back then I was supplying helmets, shoulder pads, all that stuff. Everything was supplied to the parents. So I'm giving them a package. Like, here you go. It's a $200 package. I don't get my $250 back.
Yeah, because I spent probably $500 on my son equipment.
I got to take that hit too. You know what I mean? So those were the low points when I was just like, man, bro, I'm taking hits after hits after hits. And the guy that was giving me the equipment was like, oh, don't worry about it. Hey, man, don't worry about it. Just make sure you get through the season. And that was cool until next season come around. It was like, hey, bro, I need my money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was cool until the next season come around. Now he want his money. And then, I was just like, man. So it was crazy, man. I had like an $8,000 tab. Whew. It was so that was the low point. Then that same following year, I had the parents saying what they was saying. I'm just like, bro, y'all saying this, but y'all don't even understand. I'm about to go to court for this $8,000.
Right.
You know
Y'all
what I mean?
ain't going to court. I'm going to court.
Yeah. So I'm just being transparent. Yeah. These are the things you go through when you're getting out the mud. You know what I mean? And nobody knows, and I don't talk about it. But now, it's a platform to talk about it. So now people can see where we really came from and where we really at and how it came about. You know what I mean? So.
Okay. So was there a point? I'm sure you got sponsors now, but how did you go up? Did you have sponsors? I'm assuming.
A few. Maybe one. Like we have a guy that one of my coaches has that sponsors him every year and gives him a little bit of money, but that goes to that team. For the most part, we've had guys donate, and we was able to do things like get vans and stuff like that, but or get a van. But for the most part, man, we just self-sufficient. We don't. A lot of people say they're gonna sponsor you, man. I had NFL players. Oh yeah, we got you. Don't happen. You know what I mean? You got companies. You know, hey, send us the information. It don't happen. You know what I mean? So I don't bank on sponsors. I mean, I would love sponsors, but that's not what I hold my hat on. I hold my hat on is this right here, finding ways to raise money so we can go do what we need to do. You know what I mean? So that's really what it boils down to.
What kind of fundraisers do you typically do?
We like to do homecomings, car washes, just typical fundraisers. Sometimes we'll do a raffle, like a television raffle or something like that.
That's cool.
But for the most part, man, it's just getting it out the mud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm that type of person, man. I'm just gonna get it done myself.
Yeah.
I can't bank on you telling me you're gonna do something and then you don't do it, and now I'm looking crazy. I just say, look, I'm gonna get it myself. I'm gonna figure it out. And if you sponsor me, great. If you don't, hey, we still gonna do what we do. I'm baffled that for after 2 national championships, what we do, we got a nationally ranked team right now. Companies are not jumping to want to be the backers. But hey,
how do you change that? Or how have you ever thought about how to? I'm sure you have, but
I think personally I could go after more companies. But after I've done that and companies told me no, I'm the type of person that you can. If people really know me, I don't ask nobody for nothing, bro. It's just like I'm just one of the type of people. It's hard for me to ask. I'm not a beggar. I don't want people. You know, my thing is I feel like if we do the work, they'll come to us. That ain't always the case. I could probably do a little bit more about asking companies for money and doing that kind of stuff like that. But I feel like the more I ask and the more I get no's, I'm gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna get back to my motive. You know what, we're just gonna do it ourselves. We fund ourselves getting the nationals. Parents pay a small fee, but we take care of the rest and things of that nature. So we've been able to do everything we wanted to and some without them. Okay. So we could do more with them. But
okay. Do you offer scholarship programs for children who don't have the financial means to participate, but they really want to?
We make it work. Okay. I probably fund about 10 to 15 kids every year.
That's cool.
That's just what we do. Yeah. Kids need help. We try to help. You know what I mean? The biggest thing about that is, you do that for kids and then the parents don't help on the back end. You know what I mean? You be like, hey, all I ask you to do is fundraise.
Right. Come out here and help.
They don't do it sometimes. So,
I feel you.
But at the end of the day, it ain't about that. It's about the kid. I look at it like that. The kid, a lot of kids have come to our program and we've been able to let them play. Parents haven't been able to. And now we see them playing, they big time at their school at this point.
Oh, that's dope.
So that's what the work is. I tell everybody, that's the reward. Everybody worried about championships and all that stuff like that. That's great. I love it. I don't like to lose. You probably know me. I don't like to lose, bro. But the real victory is when you see these kids playing on Friday nights. You see these kids, going and getting scholarships and they sign their letters of intents and stuff like that. Now you like, okay, it was worth it.
Yeah, it means
I ain't worried about the little money I spent. You know what I mean? Like, this is it right here. That's where they got their start. You know what I mean? And we instilled a lot of stuff into these kids, and now they're able to do their thing, man.
That's cool. Okay, so some of the kids, if you don't mind me asking, what are some of the kids that have gone on to college and?
Yeah, we've had quite a few. I feel like if I don't name some of them, I'll probably get in trouble. So. But it's just a lot, man. It's a lot of them that I do know of. We've had kids. Let's see. The problem is I'm gonna forget the school. But like I said, Michael's one of them. Michael went to Limestone. You had Jaja played with Michael at Southside Christian. He went to the Army.
Oh, that's dope.
He got a scholarship. He at West Point. You know what I mean? So you got kids that's moving and shaking. And we got a whole nother bunch that's going to come out. Probably within the next 2 years, you're going to see a lot of scholarships coming from them guys. You know what I mean? But we got kids everywhere. If you look at almost any school in Greenwood County, we're going to have somebody there that's performing at a high level. Okay. And that's what makes it worth it. You know what I mean? When you got kids and the coaches are high school coaches are like, man, they know when they come from us, they know what they're getting. You know what I mean? It's like they know what they're getting. And that's what means a lot to me. Because that's what I set out for. We want to teach the fundamentals of football. And we're going to teach these kids how to be great young men, and just stay in their life. You know what I mean? And we've accomplished that. So mission's been accomplished. We done won national championships. There's not too much we can do. But we're gonna keep doing it. You know what I mean?
When did you win your first championship? What year was that?
2020.
Okay, and how did that go? Like, what was that? How many games per season?
Ooh, Well, that was our first national championship. Now, we was winning league championships, our firrt year. The very first year, we won AU state championship. The very first AAU state championship in South Carolina.
Okay.
So we won that. But our very first national came in 2020. You asked me something else, too. What'd you say?
I probably forgot. But, how many games per season?
How many games per season? So it was around about 8. Now, total, we'll play games outside our regular season schedule, but total we'll probably play around 12 to 15 games. But during the season, it's like 8 games. Then you got the playoffs. So you're looking at probably about 12.
Okay. So what's the difference between the games you play, besides the fact that in the state, it's obviously to go to the state championship, but what does it look like as far as your national championship journey versus in-state?
Well, I mean, of course, you play other teams outside just for the competition purposes. But once you win the state, then you go to nationals, and then either you go into like a pool play where you probably got like 15 other teams, and y'all just duke it out to get to the national championship, and then whoever wins. So it's down in Florida. We go down to Florida, play a game. We play a game every other game. Every other day, you got a game. So it's a week-long schedule. So you probably play like 4 or 5 games, and then you get to that. Well, you play about 3 games, and then you get to the big game.
Okay, so it's not like the state champion of each state, and then y'all all play. It's more so.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's supposed to be the qualification. Either you're the state champion or runner-up.
Oh, okay.
And you get a bid to go to nationals. And then all those teams come together. Those that can make it come together, duke it out to make a national champion.
Okay, so who did y'all beat in y'all first championship? National championship, excuse me.
I think it was the Staten Island Hurricanes out of New York.
Oh, that's dope. Okay. So how was the game? Like, give me some of that.
Ooh, that was an impact. That was a tough one. It came down to the wire, man. It came down to the wire. It went back and forth. We kicked the onside kick. They ran it back for a touchdown with like a minute left, and then we ended up stopping them to win. At the end, they got the ball back. We ended up stopping them at the end to win it out. It was a crazy game though. It was a crazy game. They scored at the end. They almost scored again to win it, and we stopped them. And that's how we won. And then our second one was last year. My AU won the national championship. And I think they beat another team from New York. I forgot their name. But they was from New York as well.
It was nice too then, yeah. So what's the difference between the youngest, you said it starts at 6, right? 6 to 8?
Yeah.
What's the difference between coaching the 6 to 8-year-olds to, you said, up to 14?
12.
12, excuse me. What's the difference? I mean, there's got to be a different approach to the youngest versus the oldest.
The youngest is patience. Patience and consistency. So patience and persistence and repetition. So I coach, if me, personally, I'm going to coach a 6U kid the same way I coach a 12U kid.
Okay.
Only thing difference might be a little bit language, maybe a little bit. Right. Sometimes with 12U, we can change our language up a little bit. But I don't change the way I coach them.
Okay.
I'm stern, I'm straightforward, I don't baby them, I don't treat them like they 6 years old, I treat them like they young men.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're going to listen, you're going to pay attention, we're not doing all that playing. Hey, this is what we're doing. You know what I mean? And those are the more disciplined team gonna win. So you just try to instill that discipline in 6-year-olds. Now you treat them like 6-year-olds before and after practice, but during practice, hey, because you got to keep their attention.
Yeah, that attention.
If you can't keep their attention on the 6-year-old, you might as well just hang it up because they're gonna be out there picking grass. But but with them, you run some of the same stuff. You just make sure that you got to give them the repetition. So whereas if I'm coaching 12U, I might run this play for maybe 10, 15 minutes and now everybody has it. Okay. With 6U, I might have to run that play the whole day, half of practice, just so I can know, you need to know this is what you're doing, this is your assignment, this is, you know what I mean? Just so they can it's going to take them a long time to get it. That's all. That's in my mind. Now, other coaches might say something different, but in my head, because I've coached 6U before, that's all it is. It's repetition. A little bit more discipline, a little bit more focus driven, a little bit more, hey, this is what you have to do. And it's a lot more encouraging them. You call them superheroes and hey, man, you're a superhero, bro.
Because they got to learn and get that confidence.
They got to get that confidence. You got to make them think they the most special person in the world. And they're going to come back to you for that reassurance. Hey, coach, I'm a superhero, right? I need you to be a superhero this play. You know what I mean?
I need a touchdown.
Can't tell a 12-year-old. They be like, coach, you tripping. You cap. You tripping, coach. You tripping, bro. We ain't no superheroes, bro. You know what I'm saying? We might spin the block, but we ain't no superheroes. But yeah, so it's just a different mindset of coaching. You got a 6-year-old, you got to tap into it on a different way. 12-year-old, you still got to tap into them, but really they are a little different. You know what I mean?
You got to speak their language in the 12-year-olds more so the slang and all that they use.
I mean, you can build that relationship outside of practice. They be like, "Oh, Coach Voc is cool. Really, he's really cool." And during practice, he's really not that cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the same time, it's just like I think with me, it's just being real with him. You know what I mean? Look, bro, I'm not finna fake the funk with you, and I'm not finna sit here and baby you. I'm not finna stroke your ego. Right. I'm not finna do none of that. I'm gonna be 100% real with you. You know, I love you, but I will cuss you out in a heartbeat if I have to.
With love.
With love. You know what I mean? But I don't do it. I'm not one of them coaches that do a whole bunch of cussing and stuff like that. I say that, but, you know, at the end of the day, like, I'm going to hold you accountable. Yeah. Because guess what? After this step, they're going to hold you accountable. Yeah. When you get to the next level, they're going to hold you accountable. Yeah. They're not putting up with your BS. They don't care if you pound. They don't care if you're crying. They don't care if you play. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you can play or you not play. It ain't going to hurt them at all because your parents ain't paying no money for you to play high school ball.
Nah, you just show up.
You just show up. And if you come with that same attitude, you're not going to play.
Yeah. So with your program, do you have to make the team, so to speak, or as long as you...
I try not to do cuts. Parents are making it hard.
How so?
Because, you know, like, so we play at a high level. Yeah. And some kids that come are not at that level yet. And parents don't want to be a part of the process. They want to see their kid. They want to see their kid play.
You mean they want to be part of the learning process?
The learning process. Gotcha. They want to skip that process. They want to
be the star.
I want to show up on Saturday and I want to see my kid on the field.
Right.
Not understanding that when you put it on your field, two things can happen. Either he can get hurt. Yeah. Or he can be the reason why his team lose and now everybody on his team mad at him. Right. And that ain't good either. You got to let him go through those phases so we can trust him to put him on that football field. Because it's two things. You got exposure and you got exposed. Which one you want for your kid? Because I can put him out there, he can get exposed and be looking crazy. Or you can let him get better at practice. And so I explain that to a lot of parents up front. It's like, hey, you don't come to me and pay for playing time. You come to me and what you're paying for is a uniform, bag, and all that good stuff like that. And you're also paying for your kid to get better. Okay. He's going to get better. I don't see too many kids come and not get better. That's one thing I can say. But at the same time, I can't promise you that he's going to touch the field every game. Right. I can't. You know what I mean? Because tight games, a lot of kids don't touch the field. Right.
You trying to win, too.
You trying to win. We ain't all about winning, but don't nobody come to the Titans to lose. Right. Yeah. That's just not. Let's go play with Upstate Titans. They lose a lot, but we're going to go over there anyway. I'm going to stay where I'm at. Why come over here and play with y'all if I'm going to come over here and lose? Right. That's one thing that parents don't really understand is that it's a process. Some of these kids you see playing now weren't playing when they were 6. Oh, gotcha. Some of these kids that's playing now was playing. I got a kid now that plays on 8U. He was a center when he was 6. Now he's a running back.
Oh, that's dope. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But these kids change with time. Their bodies change, their mindset change, their speed change. Everything changes. Parents just gotta fall in love with the process and trust the process. Okay. Then fall in love with it, and that's all it is. So that's the difference.
Okay, cool. Okay, so then with 6 and 8-year-olds, I'm sure you don't run the same plays though, because how do you find a good quarterback at that age versus, like my son plays quarterback, he's 9. And he can throw, but he ain't, you know what I mean, Peyton Manning because he's only 9. Yeah. But he has accuracy, but he doesn't have the mindset yet. He's immature. He be, like you said, playing in the grass and shit. When he ain't,
you just answered your own question. Yeah. It's mindset. Yeah. Quarterback ain't about, up until you get to around about 10 and 12, it ain't about who can throw the farthest or who got the best arm, who's the most accurate. It's about who can I trust to lead my offense when I'm not on the field.
Because it does a lot of running plays because of their age group.
Exactly. So who can I trust to hand the ball off, who has ball skills, like center. At 6, 7, and 8, you want a guy that you know got ball skills that can hike that ball, whether he got somebody in front of him, and he got to hike the ball and block.
Hell yeah, that's
at the same time. So he's multi-task. He's one of your most important people on offense. Yeah. A lot of people think it's the quarterback, the running back. No, if your center can't hike the ball, if he can't walk and chew bubblegum, you done. Yeah. You know what I mean? So when it comes to me and my mindset, when it comes down to a quarterback, it's about who can be mature enough to mess up, get chewed out, and still go back out there and make the next play. You know what I mean? Who can mess up and not get turned into a crybaby? You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. You know, people don't like their kids being called crybaby, but there's some crybabies out there.
My baby's a crybaby a little bit.
But it's just, that's the thing. It's the maturity level. As a quarterback, you got to be mature. You got to have a short-term memory. You got to be able to go back there, brush it off, and shake back and have the ball. You got the ball in your hands every play. Yeah. You know what I mean? Unless you're going wildcat. You know what I mean? But you got the ball in your hands every play. That's a lot of responsibility from a football player perspective. Okay. So it's the mindset.
So how do you pick a quarterback at that age? Like, is it something you see in them? Is it something that stands out that be like, okay, that's the one?
Yep, that's it. Okay. It's just you see what he can do. You see that he He can throw the ball a little bit. He can manage the game. He's a leader. He can be a leader. He can be poised. He got the speed. A lot of times you want a speedy quarterback that can get out of there. Because if they're not blocking, he got to be able to make. He got to be able to make. He got to be able to make plays happen. Because a lot of times them boys don't block sometimes.
Yeah.
So he got to be able to say, "Oh, they're not blocking. I got to get out of here."
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't be like, "Oh man, I don't know what I'm gonna do." No, you got to get out of there.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So that's what I look. That's what we kind of look for. Some guys been playing quarterback since they were 6.
So you know the progression at that point.
So it's either that or you build your quarterback.
How do you build a quarterback in those age
You look for those certain. I look for those. If I have to build a quarterback, I look for those certain things, and I take it and I say, okay, let's go. I'm going to teach you everything you need to do to be a quarterback.
So can you teach a kid how to be better at throwing? Say he has all the intangibles. I know that's probably too strong a word for an 8-year-old, but as 6, 7, 8-year-old, if they have the intangibles, can you teach them the physical part of it?
As far as throwing?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can work on that. Some kids got the God given. They just got given. They can just throw the ball. They can chunk it. You got some kids that can throw, but they don't have no accuracy. You got some kids that got accuracy, but don't have no touch. You got some kids that got one without the other. So there's certain things you got to hone in on. You know what I mean?
Can you teach them some of those or improve some of those things?
It's just practice. Okay. Practice makes perfect with quarterbacks, man. Practice makes perfect. They got to want it, though. And in today's era, parents got to make investments, bro. You can't, it's impossible in today's era for me to teach your kid, get him where he needs to go just in practice time. You see what I'm saying? It's almost impossible now because the game has evolved.
So you say investment, you mean at home?
Investment at home, take them to trainers, whatever you got to do. If your kid's a quarterback, you need to find a good quarterback trainer.
Yeah, my son does all that shit.
And have him in training. And find the right trainer, and boom. And then once you get the training, you need to record the training, go home and work for that stuff in the backyard because at the end of the day, that trainer only got a certain amount of time.
Yeah. So
guess what? So it's like this. It's like anything else, man. If you want your kid to learn how to drive a car,
right?
You take them to somebody to teach them how to drive. You still got to let them drive when they're at home.
Yeah, that can't be the only time they drive.
That can't be the only time they drive. You still got to take them out driving. Then you got to still monitor that. Then you got to get comfortable enough to say, okay, I feel like you're comfortable enough to drive on your own.
Right.
Same thing with you football. You can't say I'm dropping or basketball, anything else. I'm dropping my kid off at practice. In this hour and a half, bro, you got to get my kid to where he need to be.
Make him Joe Montana.
Yeah, no, because guess what? In that hour and a half, guess how many other kids I got?
60.
I can't just focus on yours.
Right.
You got to focus on yours. You got to get your kid that extra training. You got to get your kid where he needs to be, and I can then hone him in and bring him into my world and get it and put the finishing touches on it when I can. You see what I'm saying? And that's where the game has changed now because when your kid's lining up against somebody else that's going to training.
Yeah.
He's getting that extra training. He's getting that extra work. He's getting that work with the coaches. He's doing this and he's doing that. And so that's why I said now it's more of an investment piece for parents. Okay. And whatever they're doing now because the competition level is increasing, ever increasing because kids, like college football, you can get beat any Saturday now. Yeah. It's going the powerhouses are finna be done.
Anybody do 12-team tournament now?
I don't know.
I don't really watch college, but
it's the competition level has spread out because now that little Johnny that may live in a rural area, he probably got a trainer now.
And he probably got a YouTube channel with all his highlights.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now they're able to find those guys. They're able to get that training. They're able to, whereas back in the day, it wasn't like that.
Right.
So now, that's why the competition level is so spread out now. It ain't just kids going to these schools now. Now they're going to all these different schools, and you got the transfer portal. So it's just, it's crazy. All sports is going to get crazy now because the talent level is just going to be
okay. So it's more nuance versus it's just 5 good ass teams.
It ain't gonna be that no more. It's gonna be. It's gonna start balancing itself out because you got kids getting training. You got kids watching YouTube. You got kids in the backyard. You got coaches finding kids because the recruiting starting at the youth level now.
Yeah, I'm sure they come to your practices.
Yeah, just off of Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff. Yeah. Kid shares highlight, coach see it. I'm in Mama DM. Hey, how can I get him up here? You know what I mean? You got people in Atlanta recruiting kids, trying to recruit kids out of Greenville and out of Spartanburg and
damn.
Yeah, you got a kid that played with one of the number 1 team in the nation. He live in Florida, but he played out of Georgia.
They just coming to pick him up. Hey, come play. Bring him up.
He probably flying in to play games. You see what I'm saying? But they might be taking care of the ticket. You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Yeah.
But that's happening at the youth football level. So
okay. So you got kids, and have you ever coached your kids?
Mm-hmm.
What's that like? What's that dynamic
I
like?
can't stand it. No, I don't prefer to coach my kids. It's simply because you coach your kids every day.
Well, how old are they now? If you feel my man.
Shoot. Dang.
The ones that played for you.
All my kids don't play with me in any kind of one sport or the other. They all play because I coach basketball too. So I've coached my girls in basketball. I coached my son in basketball. I coached my son in football. I haven't coached him directly, but I've been a part of the process of coaching them. So coaching my kids I feel like this. I coach my kids every day, so my voice can become dormant. Not when I'm mad and I'm they're gonna listen to me. Right. It's different. But at the same time, I don't want to get that. It's so easy to confuse daddy and coach. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's frustrating to me because at the end of the day, I don't want my kids. They can cross that line in their head and get down on themselves. Because as a parent, if your kid feel like they're letting you down and you're getting on them, then it's two things can happen. Either they can use it as motivation or it's gonna put them down.
Especially when they go back home and you ain't coach right now.
Even on the field, on the basketball court, like, man, why you do that? What you got going on? Right. I know you can do better than that. Right. They can either say, okay, I'm gonna go do it, or they can be like, man, I can't believe that just got on me, man. I'm a failure. And now the rest of the game, So now while I'm trying to coach everybody else, I'm trying to be evenly coached with everybody. But then I'm trying to babysit their ego and still trying to coach and still trying to reach them, and you trying not to show favoritism, It's just all that. And sometimes you try overly not to show favoritism so people won't say, oh, it's daddy ball. That's daddy ball. So a lot of times people's like, man, why you not playing your daughter? Well, I got another point guard over here too. Yeah. I don't care. We need her to play. But no, if I let her play the whole game, y'all gonna have something to say about that too. So I don't like all that. I'd rather somebody else just coach my kid, and when we get in the car, I say what I need to say and we keep it pushing. Okay. I never have like coaching my kids, like even training. I pay for somebody else to train my kids sometimes. Even though I know I can train my kids, it's just that I can say something to your kid today that you could tell me right now, hey man, say this to my son. And we go out in the backyard and he do exactly what I tell him to do, but it's something you've been telling him the whole time. Yeah. That's what adults too though, which is crazy. But I can tell you something right now and then somebody else can tell you and you be like, bro, I've been telling you this the whole time. But just because somebody else told you, now it makes sense. But that's how kids are. So that's why I was like, you know what? I'll let them train them. I still say my little piece in between, but they like that. They let that person train them. Okay. You know what I mean? But that's what I said. I've never been big on coaching my own kids. Oh, so you never like, I can't wait to coach my kid. Okay. I'm not that guy. Okay. I don't mind coaching them. I'll coach them, but I'm not gun-ho about it. Like, if I need to coach them, I'll coach them. But I've never been that guy to just my kids. I love my kids. I want my kids to shine, but not to the point to where I'm just, I want to be all over my kids like that. Nah. I can be hard on my kids sometimes, but guess what? I'm hard on everybody's kids. Right. So it's easy. Come to my practice and you'll see it. I don't take pity on it. If you're not doing what you got to do, you're just not doing what you got to do. And I'm going to say my piece, whether you're my child or not. Right. So do you ever have parents that kind of be like, you coaching my kids too hard? Or I think I've heard, no parent has come to me and said that, but I've heard through the grapevine when I was doing basketball that parents were saying, oh, Voc was hard on my kid or whatever. But guess what? What you gonna do that in high school? You gonna do that when they go to college? Right. You gonna do that? So my thing is this: if I'm preparing your kid for the next level, then sometimes you're gonna have to get some tough love. Right. Sometimes you're gonna have to get his butt chewed out. Sometimes you're gonna have to get yelled at, fussed at, and all what. Let me see how you're gonna respond. So because guess what? If he can't respond to it in practice, I can't trust him to respond to it in the game. I'm gonna say my piece regardless. Right. So if you don't like that, then it is what it is. But guess what? What you gonna do when they get to high school? You gonna write a letter to the AD? You gonna write a letter to the coach? What you gonna do? Yeah. Because guess what? If he can take me, fussing at him when I need to, then guess what? When he get to high school, man, Coach Voc used to do that all the time. I ain't worried about it. I'm gonna respond the right way now. Though. I'm gonna respond the right way. I got you, Coach. I tell my kids, shut me up. If you don't like me saying nothing to you, do what you got to do and shut me up, bro. Right. You can't fuss. I can't fuss if you do what you got to do. Yeah. Because but this is the thing now. I didn't say this piece, and I do this with my kids too. I'm gonna say my piece, but I'm gonna love you harder. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes out of my kids after every practice, I'm dapping them, loving whatever you do. When you do the right thing, I'm gonna praise the heck out of you. You do the wrong thing, I'm gonna get on your butt. Right. So it's even exchange. Yeah. You do what you got to do, we're gonna celebrate you, bro. If you're not doing what you got to do, we're gonna be on your butt. I can dig that, though. You pick and choose. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You got a green pill. You got a blue, red pill, blue pill, whatever. You got to pick that pill, whichever one you want. You know what I mean? But you're going to clock in. You're going to do your job. Right.
Okay. So as the director, do you still coach or you just run the whole?
This year I'm coaching. This is my first year coaching in a long time. So I'm coaching my 12-year-old team. I'm actually coaching them myself. So
what made you come back into the coaching aspect?
Well, we had a coaching shortage at the beginning.
Oh,
so
dang.
It was only like 2 of us at first, and then more people started coming on. So now
for this coming season, or okay.
So it's a coaching shortage period. And it's a good coach shortage as well because a lot of people don't want to deal with the parents. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
It's rough. It's rough, man. You got to deal with coaching your team. You got to deal with parents complaining about playing time. You got to deal with all this other stuff. It's a lot that comes with it. You know, like you seen, a guy up in, I think, Philadelphia or Jersey or somewhere got shot because his parent, he wouldn't get enough playing time at practice.
Oh, hell no. I don't need that in my life.
It's different now, man. These parents get in their feelings when it comes down to their children. And I understand it, but you got to be realistic. You got to be realistic at the same time.
You know if your kid is not, I'm not going to say sucks, but if they're not talented in that way.
Everybody can't, they can't see it, though. You got some people that just live in a false reality. And they think their child is who they're not. And give them some time to be that person. But it's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody don't wake up. You got some kids that's good when they little, and they stall out. Then you got some kids that's not that great when they little, and they become superstars.
Yeah.
So just give it time. You know what I mean? Don't, like you said, I can put your kid out there, he can get exposed.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Now you mad. Now you mad.
Why you put him in that?
Why you let him get, you see you asked for this, bro. You know what I mean? I'm one of them guys that be like, okay, that's what you want? All right, boom. Then if he get it now, so what's the excuse?
Right.
Now I put him in the game, he's not ready, he give up a touchdown, and I turn around and look at you in the crowd. Now you in your feelings because now you feel like I'm trying to be funny. No, I was trying. You didn't trust me, and now I'm telling you. You think I wake up every day and say, I'm not playing Johnny today.
Right.
I'm not gonna play.
Nobody's letting.
No, bro. We trying to win, bro. So if your kid can help us win, we gonna let them play.
Yeah, mentorship
but at the end
and
of the
winning.
day, you gotta understand that it's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process, and we love all them kids the same. But at the same time, if he's not ready, he's just not ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They said somebody always the one told me, they said, it's always your time. It's just maybe not your turn. And you just got to deal with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's how you feel dropping all the jewels.
I tell you, that's how I tell my kids. Like it ain't always it's always your time. It just might not be your turn. Now, you want it to be your turn, go make it your turn. And if you're not gonna do that, then stop crying about it.
Yeah, like I told you about my son. My son is talented, but he gets frustrated very easily, and he'll start pouting when if coach get on him too hard, he starts getting frustrated, which frustrates not the coaching. Yeah. His pouting frustrates me because it's like the coach is telling you something.
That's the most frustrating thing. I can't stand no pouting.
Yeah, that shit irks my nerve. I love my son, obviously, but when he do that, I just be like, ah.
Yeah, my son do that. Take him out the game.
Yeah.
As a director, like, hey, we're not doing that.
Because he's talented, but if he fumble once and coach get on it, he start getting frustrated.
Yeah. You gotta have. That's why I said that's that thick skin part. Yeah. You gotta get out your own head. You gotta get out your own feelings. You gotta learn that. You know what I'm saying? So, and it happens sometimes. I wasn't always the best sport when it came down to playing basketball.
I wouldn't. I would try.
I would get mad. Yeah, I get mad, and when I got mad, I was the worst player in the world. But I had to sit down and say, okay, how can I change this? How can I turn that madness into energy? Once I figured that out, now you make me mad. Now it's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah,
but it took me a long time it took me a little bit of time and a lot of cussing from my mama to get there. My mama was different. Oh, you mad? You finna play like this? Go get your shit. Let's go.
Oh, you leaving for the day?
Oh no, she gonna pull me off the court and say, "Let's ride." You ain't trying to play basketball, you guys. And I had to learn that. It's like, bro, no, I want to play basketball.
How many times did it take for you to be like, okay, I
was like, "Mama not playing, bro. I ain't doing that no more. Let's get your stuff and let's go." Because she was a straight shooter, bro. She didn't care about none of that.
How's she been?
Good. But mama, she's helped me out. She she runs my whole concession.
Oh, cool.
Every game she's in there working. So my mama at every game. She right there. She been there the whole way. My wife and everybody. So that's what's kept us afloat, man. My family, my kids. They got the short end of the stick because every game they there early, setting up. They leave late. They the last people late. I got them picking up trash. They're like, this ain't even fair. Why ain't nobody else picking up trash?
We ain't playing.
But yeah, if they don't do it, nobody will do it. So it's like we got to stay out there and do it. They the last to leave. They the first ones. They help me fill up Gatorade coolers and all kind of stuff like that. So my family is really the backbone of keeping the Upstate Titans afloat. Because they put in a lot of the work on the back end. You know what I mean? Games might be over at 4. We might not leave to 6:30. Picking up trash and loading everything up and stuff. So it's just that. It's a lot that goes into it. But my family is probably one of the biggest backbones about keeping this thing afloat. So
I can only imagine, dog. Like on a smaller scale, not to nowhere near the extent of yours. Like my daughter plays on the band at high school, and dog, we was out. The game ended. We out there picking up trash in the bleachers because the band they have to pick it up. I said, well, my daughter ain't finna pick up no goddamn trash. She ain't play on the field. Yeah. So we pick up the trash. So on a smaller scale, I know what you mean. Yeah,
it's wild, man. It's like first of all, it's so wild that people so trashy. First of all, they trash the parking lot. Yeah. They trash. So we got to go clean the parking lot. We got to clean. And then we at schools. Yeah. So schools like, bro, don't clean it up and see what happens.
Yeah, you ain't coming back.
So you got to come through there and clean up all that mess, and you got to pick up all you got. I probably, last game we had like, big trash bag, the big 55-gallon trash bags. Probably about 20 of them that I had to take up and put in the big dumpster. That's how much trash be out there, man. So it's crazy. It's wild, but that's what me and my family doing. We riding around. Thank God we got the Gator this year, so I just loaded up on the back of the Gator, made about 5 or 6 trips. Like somebody broke a tent. They just left the tent there. They didn't try to tear it down. I had to break the tent all the way down, break it, literally break the tent,
to get it,
put it on the back of the Gator and take it and throw it in the trash can. It's just people just don't care, man. So that's part of the process too, man. It's a lot. People don't understand what goes in. Like even when I have a home game, I start preparing for my home game on Monday. It's a week process.
What days y'all normally play on Saturday?
Saturdays, yeah. So I gotta make my Sam's run one day, then I have to come home, load all everything up, and it's a process, man. Have to get out there around about 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and don't leave until 7 o'clock that night sometimes. So.
What days y'all practice?
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Where's y'all home field?
Right now we're at Greenville High.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah, we're at Greenville High right now.
Very cool. So have y'all always been there, or did you say start at Lakeside?
We started at Lakeside, then we went to Carolina High. Okay. And then they started making repairs to the field. So at one point in time we was at I don't know if you know where what's that? Is that White Oak Church? What is that? Shady Oak Church, right there on Whitehorse Road.
Oh yeah.
That big field that was over there. We had to practice out there for a whole year. We practiced out there, and I can't remember where we played our games at. So we did that, and then we went to Jail Man for a short stint. Then we went to Southside. So our last school was Southside, but we couldn't play any of our games there.
Why? That ain't my business.
It was a long story. But then we went to Greenville, and everything's been great. So
that's cool. Okay, so what's the difference between coaching? What's the name of the basketball team that you coach?
I was coaching at one point in time. I was coaching. I had the Titans. I was coaching church league. I was taking my football players, and we just going to play church league for
fun. Cool. Okay.
We was winning that every year. Then I was going to do Titans basketball, but then I linked up with Tigers Elite.
What's that?
I started coaching with them. It's a travel ball program in here in Greenville. I linked up with them. I coached with them for like 4 years. Okay. I didn't coach last year. Okay. And so last year was my first year not coaching in a long time. I kind of miss coaching basketball.
That's part of why you come back, minus the shortage.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about coaching basketball this year. I don't know yet. I've got somebody. I coached Simpsonville Rec one year, and I got a buddy of mine trying to get me to coach Malden Rec this year. So basketball, I like coaching basketball, man. I got a mind for it, but
I mean, you was nice with it. You know what I mean? So I can imagine.
I like basketball.
Is there differences? Are there big differences in coaching football and basketball besides the numbers?
Big difference in coaching football and basketball. I think coaching basketball is a lot that goes into you're coaching every position. Oh, okay. Football, you got positional coaches that help out with different positions and stuff like that. Football is more philosophy driven, if you ask me. It's like you gotta it's learning different philosophy, different offensive strategy, defensive strategy. It's a lot. Football's a game of inches. Something as small as the inches. You know what I mean? Can win or lose. Basketball, you're just going up and down the court, so the momentum swift is quicker. Football is just like everything has got to be. You got to break it down and say, okay, well, when you watching film, you got them doing this. Everything is so many little small things. The clock, you paying attention to everything. Basketball is like it's more on the fly. Like okay, you make an adjustment, and you make adjustments on the fly, but you got to think. You got a possession every so what minutes in football. Basketball, you got a possession every 30 seconds. You got a possession. You know what I mean? So it's more fast paced when it comes to basketball. So I can't say the difference in both of them. It's just different. You know what I mean? It's different. Basketball it's a lot quicker. A lot of things going on. So And I feel like I know more about basketball than football. I've learned as I went, but it was generically with basketball because I've been doing it my whole life. Football is a little different because playing at this level is different. It's the closest thing you're going to get to high school football.
Yeah. Would you want to play? Would you want to coach high school? Or even higher up?
I've been asked about it. I don't know, man. I think I could. It just, I don't know. It's so much politics. I don't want to get inside the politics part of it.
You just want to be an influence, be a mentor.
Yeah, because that politics, when you get the schools get involved, I don't want to get caught up in that.
And then there's money involved with some of that. Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of. I'm a straight shooter, man. So I'll probably chunk the deuces. I don't care how much money you got. Johnny ain't playing.
All right.
Johnny ain't gonna make us lose.
Boosters, yeah.
I ain't worried about all that, bro. Johnny can't cut the mustard. This kid need to play.
Yeah.
Because that's where I come from, grassroots. Where the best kid need to play.
Yeah.
Period. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I can't go nowhere and be bought off like that. I'd rather not even coach. I'd rather be in the stands watching a good game of football versus get caught up in them politics, man. Because I'm not with it at all. I'm not with the politics stuff.
Okay, fair
enough. If the kid better, like even my kid, if she better than my kid, okay, it is what it is. Baby, you got work to do.
Yeah, we got to get better.
You got work to do. And I ain't afraid to tell my kids that, bro. You got work to do. And I tell them, you ain't working, don't come to me about not playing. You deserve every bit of that.
You enjoy the pie until you put the work.
Hey, sit on the bench.
Yeah.
Daddy, hey, look, better hope Daddy beat us. But I mean, if you ain't putting in the work, bro, that's tough for me to go to a game and sit through a whole game and watch you ride the bench, and I know you ain't put the work in. Yeah. That's the toughest thing you can do as a parent, bro. Yeah. Like, man, you ain't put the work in, bro. So
ain't nothing to do about
that's something we got to figure out, I guess. But yeah, man, I enjoy coaching both. I enjoy sitting in the stands and watching it too, so I can do both.
Okay. All right, so where can people find the team to sign up for the kids? Where can they possibly give donations? You got a website? You got a social media?
Upstate Titans Football.com. So they can just go to UpstateTitansFootball.com. Everything's on there. They can reach out to us personally. I mean, we're not hard to find, man. We're everywhere, man. You go on social media, you're going to see somebody, you're going to see us. But like, Instagram. I know we got Instagram, Facebook. That's the best thing. Or you go to the website, UpstateTitansFootball.com, and reach out to us. But yeah, you can go to our Facebook page. We got Upstate Titan Facebook page. We got a business page. We also have a regular Upstate Titan page where you can communicate with us. So we outside. We ain't hard to find, man.
Oh, don't y'all got a cheerleading program?
Yeah, we got cheer as well.
Okay, also meant that's better. How's that work?
Yeah, cheer same way. They don't do a lot of competitive stuff quite yet. We kind of in the rebuilding phase with our cheer program, but we're trying to get to that too, to where they can go and compete, because now that's becoming a big thing.
Yeah, they don't be with just sports.
Cheering. Yeah, we put the time and effort into the cheer too. So next year we're looking to we was kind of through a rebuilding this year, but we want to get back to where we've been. So we usually have like 40 to 60 cheerleaders, man. Like we have a huge cheer program, but we got to rebuild it to get it back to where we want to get it to, so we can.
What's the age range for that? Because my youngest is 5.
6 through 12.
Okay, so I'm going to have to bring out the next
13.
year.
They got some 13, 14-year-old girls, So yeah, check us out, man.
Hey, man, I want to say I appreciate you coming to sit down with me. Give me some of your time, man.
Yep.
And thank y'all for watching and listening. We out of here.
All right.
Yes, sir.